Bienvenidos al curso de inglés definitivo de Vaughan. Lección 4. Nivel avanzado.
Gimnasia verbal. There, must, to be. Annie, how's it going?
Fine, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks. How's tricks?
Fine, thanks.
Good. What's up?
Nothing.
Nothing. Good. Whenever we start the question with what, we would answer nothing. Good. Today, we're going to look at what might seem like a very basic structure. There plus to be, which is our way of saying haber algo. Hay uno, hay dos, hay una mosca, hay una botella. Okay? It's very easy. Everybody knows that hay uno is there is one. Hay dos, there are two. But it does get a little more complicated when we start trying to say things such as puede que haya, there may be, podría haber, there could be, podría haber habido, there could have been, etc., etc. And we're going to really try to sharpen your agility, flicking from one to the other today. Okay, that's the objective of the first part of today's lesson. Okay, hay una mosca en mi sopa.
There's a fly in my soap.
In your soap? En tu jabón? O en tu sopa?
In my soup.
My soup.
In my soup.
My soup. Ok, ten cuidado con esto. Hay varias moscas en este restaurante.
There are several flies in this restaurant.
This restaurant. Okay?
Restaurant.
This restaurant. Hay un camarero allí.
There's a waiter over there.
Hay varios problemas con el pedido.
There are several problems with the order.
Good. Okay, let's go with a few examples in the past now. Hubo un problema con el motor.
There was a problem with the motor.
With the motor or the engine. Good. Había mucha gente viendo el espectáculo aeronáutico. Un espectáculo aeronáutico would be an air show.
There were many people watching the air show.
Good. In the future now. Habrá un funeral por el piloto la semana que viene.
There will be a funeral for the
funeral.
funeral.
Not a funeral. It's not nothing fun about it.
There will
a funeral.
There will be a funeral for the pilot next week.
Good. Va a haber otro espectáculo aeronáutico el mes que viene.
There's going to be another air show next month.
Good. Excellent. Va a haber varios espectáculos aeronáuticos, de hecho.
There are going to be several air shows. In fact,
Ha habido un accidente.
there's been an accident.
Ha habido varios accidentes este año.
There have been several accidents. There have been several accidents this year.
Debe haber una razón para esto.
There must be a reason for this.
Good. Tiene que haber al menos 3 maneras de matar una mosca.
There has to be at least 3 ways to kill a fly.
There has to be or there have to be. Estamos hablando de 3.
There have to be.
There have to be. Muy bien. Again.
There have to be at least 3 ways to kill a fly.
Excellent. Debe haber habido un malentendido.
There must have been a misunderstanding.
Good. Just a little comment about the prefix mis. It usually means mal. It's the equivalent prefix of mal, un malentendido, a misunderstanding. We also use it in verbs such as to misbehave, which is comportarse mal, or to mismanage, which is hacer las gestiones mal. Okay?
Okay.
Let's carry on. Debería haber más camareros.
There should be more waiters.
There should be. Muy bien. Podría haber más camareros en la cocina.
There could be more waiters in the kitchen.
Muy bien. Parece que hay uno escondido en el armario.
There seems to be one hiding in the closet.
Good. Parece que hay 2 escondidos debajo de la mesa.
There seem to be 2 hiding under the table.
Good. Excellent. Puede que haya una razón para ello.
There may be a reason for it.
Podría haber habido una pelea en la cocina.
There could have been a fight in the kitchen.
Good. Debería haber habido alguien aquí para pararlo.
There should has been
There
some...
should has been or should have been?
have been.
There should have been. Why? Because should is an auxiliary verb, and we always have to use the bare infinitive, the basic verb after an auxiliary verb. Okay?
Okay.
So we would say there should have been. For example, he should have done. They should have done. It doesn't change. Have is always the same. There should have been. There should have been someone here to stop it.
There should have been someone here to stop it.
Good. Okay, we'll look at some examples now in the negative. No hay un bar en este pueblo. Pero ahora vamos a ir más rápido.
There isn't a bar in this village.
Good. No hay tiendas tampoco.
There aren't any shops either.
There aren't any. There aren't any.
There aren't any.
No, there aren't any.
There aren't any.
Eso es. Any. Yeah, there aren't any. There aren't any shops either. No había mucha gente aquí cuando llegué.
There weren't many people here when I arrived.
There weren't. ¿Dónde está
They
tu
weren't.
te? Muy bien. There weren't many people here when I arrived. No había tráfico en el camino.
There wasn't any traffic on the way.
No habrá fiesta esta noche si llueve.
There won't be a party tonight if it rains.
Good. Cambiemos.
No va a haber bebida en la fiesta.
There isn't going to be any drink at the party.
No va a haber aperitivos.
There aren't going to be any snacks.
No ha habido noticias de ellos.
There hasn't been any news from them. I said hasn't because news is uncountable, okay?
No ha habido ninguna fiesta aquí desde hace años.
There haven't been any parties here for years.
No debería haber problemas.
There shouldn't be any problems.
No parece que haya una solución.
There doesn't seem to be a solution.
No habría quejas si Pepe estuviera aquí.
There wouldn't be any complaints if Pepe were here.
No habría habido quejas si tú hubieras cancelado esta fiesta.
There wouldn't have been any complaints if you had cancelled this party. Some examples now in the interrogative, which of course is the most difficult form. ¿Hay una carta para mí?
Is there a letter for me?
¿Hay gente en la sala de espera?
Are there any people in the waiting room?
¿Había un problema con tu móvil?
Was there a problem with your mobile?
Good. ¿Había otra gente escuchando?
Was there other people listening?
¿Cómo? Don't forget that people is always plural in English, okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Were there other people listening?
Good. Were there other people listening? Okay. ¿Habrá una reunión acerca de esto?
There will be a meeting about this.
There will be.
Will
there
there
be?
Will
Don't
there
forget.
be?
Don't forget to invert will and there. Always imagine that there is like the subject of a verb.
Okay.
He will be. Will he be? Pues cambiamos. There will be. Para hacer la pregunta. Will there be?
Will there be a meeting about this?
Good. ¿Va a haber un juicio?
Is there going to be a court case?
¿Va a haber habitaciones disponibles?
Are there going to be any rooms available?
Muy bien. ¿Ha habido un incendio?
Has there
been?
been a fire?
Good. ¿Ha habido heridos?
Have there been any injuries?
Have there been any injuries? Okay. Not injures or injured, but have there been any injuries? Okay. ¿Tiene que haber gente bailando durante el concierto?
Do there have to be people dancing during the concert?
Muy bien. ¿Podría haber un error en el informe?
Could there be a mistake in the report?
Good. ¿Tiene que haber un cura aquí?
Does there have to be a priest here?
A priest, not a priest.
A
Se pronuncia.
priest.
A priest, okay?
Okay.
Everyone says priest, I don't know.
Yeah.
Or priest, no. ¿Debería haber más preguntas?
Should there be more questions?
Okay, good. La expresión de la semana. On the one hand. This is the way we say por un lado y por otro. On the one hand and on the other. Okay, but we don't say on the one side ever. So we don't translate it literally. Okay, let's look at some examples then.
Por un lado ganaríamos mucho dinero, pero por otro probablemente perderíamos muchos amigos.
On the one hand, we would make a lot of money. But on the other hand, we'd probably lose a lot of friends.
Por un lado, estoy feliz porque ya consiguió el trabajo, pero por otro, sé que tendrá que soportar mucho estrés.
On the one hand, I'm happy that she got the job. But on the other hand, I know she'll have to deal with a lot of stress. Okay, we'll look at some more examples now, this time omitting the word the in the first clause. We can say both on one hand or on the one hand. We can't, however, omit the word the second time round. We always have to say on the other hand, okay?
Por un lado, las ventas han crecido. Por otro lado, el personal tiene la moral más baja que nunca.
On one hand, sales have increased. On the other hand, staff morale is at an all-time low.
Por un lado, quiero desarrollar mi carrera, pero por otro, no quiero pasar tanto tiempo alejado de mi familia.
On one hand, I want to develop my career. But on the other hand, I don't want to spend so much time away from my family.
Por un lado, él ayudó a crear esta empresa. Por otro lado, se está volviendo muy exigente últimamente.
On one hand, he helped create this company. On the other hand, he has become increasingly demanding recently. Gimnasia verbal. Short answers. And if I ask you a question, if I say, for example, do you like spinach? You say yes. How would you answer it?
Yes, I do.
Yes, I do. Exactly. If I were to ask you, can you play tennis? Yes, I
Do?
Yes, I can.
Yes,
Okay. So if for all non-auxiliary verbs, when we're talking about short answers, we simply repeat the auxiliary do or does. Yes, I do. Yeah. Yes, he does. Okay. In the past, yes, he did. All right.
All right.
When we're talking about auxiliary verbs, we simply repeat the auxiliary verb in question. So can you? Yes, I can. Should you? Yes, I should. Annie, I'd like you to answer all the following questions in the affirmative. Okay?
Okay.
Do you like courgettes?
Yes, I do.
Yes, I do. Do we do? Bien. Does he manage to get by on that salary?
Yes, he does.
Good. He does. Do they walk to work every day?
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do. Do we do? Muy bien. Did they spend all their pocket money on sweets?
Yes, they do.
Not did they.
Yes, they did.
Okay, he did. Bien. Okay, let's look at some auxiliary verbs now. Can you make it to the party? ¿Qué significa? Si puedes venir.
Yes, I can.
Yes, I can. Good. Can y can. Should I let her know beforehand?
Yes, you can.
Should I let her know?
Yes, you should.
Yes, you should. Good. Should y should. Muy bien. Will they ever tie the knot? Tie the knot significa casarse. Okay?
Okay, yes, they will.
Good. Will y will. Perfecto. Could you find one in your size?
Yes, I could.
Yes, I could. Could you could. Phenomenal. We'll do some examples now in the negative. Do you do press-ups every day? Press-ups significa flexiones.
Lecciones. No, I don't.
Okay, do se convierte en don't. Does he always cut himself shaving?
No, he doesn't.
Good. Does se convierte en doesn't. Did the train get stuck in a snowdrift?
No, it didn't.
No, it didn't. Did se convierte en didn't. Do they plow the fields in the month of May? To plow significa arar.
No, they don't.
Good. Do se convierte en don't. Will they make it to the summit without oxygen? The summit is la cumbre de la montaña.
No, they won't.
Good. Will se convierte en won't en negativo, por supuesto. Can she be trusted with such demanding responsibilities?
No, she can't.
No, she can't. Can se convierte en can't. Es muy fácil, ¿no? Should he be ruled out for cheating?
No, she won't.
Should he be ruled out for cheating? Should se convierte en shouldn't. No, he shouldn't.
No, he shouldn't.
Okay.
Sorry.
Could you shuffle the cards with your eyes closed? To shuffle is barajar.
No, I couldn't.
Good. Could se convierte en couldn't. Excellent. Now we're going to chop and change. We're going to vary the answer.
Okay.
Sometimes we'll say yes, sometimes we'll say no. Are most university students overdrawn? Say yes. Are most universities? Okay.
Yes, they are.
Yes, they are. Good. Is it far to Andorra from Albacete? Say yes. Is it se convierte en?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Good. Are you half English, half Italian?
No, I'm not.
No, I'm not. Muy bien. Is he doing up his lounge, which means to decorate it? Pues sí.
Yes, he is.
Yes, he is. Good. Was the match called off on account of the weather? Say no. No, it.
No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. Good. Are you going to make it up with him? Hacer las paces, to make it up with someone. Say yes. Are you?
Yes, I am.
Yes, I am. Okay. Were they eating their main course when the police burst in? But to burst in significa irrumpir. Okay, say yes.
Okay. Yes, they were.
Yes, they were. Good. Excellent. Phrasal verb, to let out. To let out means dejar salir. Déjame salir. Let me out. Okay?
Okay.
Let's look at some examples then.
Déjame salir de aquí.
Let me out of here.
No deberían haberle dejado salir de la cárcel.
They shouldn't have let him out of prison.
No dejes al pájaro salir de la jaula.
Don't let the bird out of the cage.
Cierra la puerta. ¿Estás dejando salir todo el calor?
Close the door. You're letting all the heat out.
¿Podría dejarme salir en la estación, por favor?
Could you let me out at the station, please?
¿Quién dejó salir al gato?
Who let the cat out? Vocabulario. Okay, let's get straight down to looking at the examples then. Normalmente hay un periodo de prueba de 6 meses.
There's usually a 6-month trial period.
Trial, not trial.
Trial period.
Trial period, okay? There's usually a 6-month trial period. El vecino de mi hermano es un hombre adinerado.
My brother's neighbor is a wealthy man.
My brother's neighbor is a wealthy man. ¿Te lo pasaste bien en la fiesta?
Did you have a good time at the party?
Good. Did you have a good time at the party? Okay? We never say to pass it well. We have a good time, simplemente. The next one. Es obvio que quieren que caigamos en la trampa.
They clearly want us to fall into the trap.
Into the tramp or the trap? Ah, be careful, okay? A trap is una trampa. A tramp, we will look at in the next example, a tramp is un vagabundo. Okay. So they clearly want us to fall into the trap, okay?
Trap.
La trampa de la palabra trap es que no hay M. Es vagabundo desde hace 15 años.
He's been a tramp for 15 years.
Good, he's been a tramp for 15 years. Estuvo muy disgustado cuando su mujer le dejó.
He was very upset when his wife left him.
When his wife left him.
Wife
Good,
left
he was
him.
very upset when his wife left him. Los enchufes españoles no funcionan en Inglaterra.
Spanish plugs don't work in England.
Good, Spanish plugs don't work in England. Él es tan ingenuo que creerá cualquier cosa que le digas.
He's so naive,
Naive, no, naive.
naive.
Okay, he's so naive.
He's so naive, he'll believe anything you tell him.
Good. Gimnasia verbal. To feel like. To feel like means apetecer. Me apetece. Hacer algo. And when a verb follows it, that verb goes in the gerund. So we need always the ing. Okay? I
Okay.
feel like going. I feel like starting. I don't feel like talking to you. I don't feel like doing this exercise. Do you feel like doing the exercise, Annie?
Yes, of course.
Good. Okay, let's get going then. Me apetece comer una manzana.
I feel like eating an apple.
Eating an apple con ing. Muy bien. I feel like eating an apple. Me apetece irme al trabajo temprano.
I feel like going to work early.
Good. Me apetece darme un baño caliente. To take a hot bath, okay?
I feel like taking a hot bath.
Good. Me apetece ir a ver una película después de cenar.
I feel like going to see a movie after eating dinner.
No me apetece ir a trabajar hoy.
I don't feel like going to work today.
Good. I don't feel like going to work today. No me apetece en absoluto hacerlo. En
I
absoluto, at all, al final, ¿eh?
Okay. I don't feel like doing it at all.
I don't feel like doing it at all. No me apetece hacer ejercicio.
I don't feel like exercising.
Good. No me apetece dejar de fumar.
I don't feel like quitting smoking.
Quitting.
Quitting.
I don't feel like quitting smoking, or I don't feel like giving up smoking. ¿Te apetece dar un paseo?
Do you feel like going for a walk?
Good. You feel like going for a walk. Dar un paseo is to go for a walk. ¿Te apetece llamar a tu madre?
Do you feel like calling your mother?
Okay, yes I do. And do you feel like calling your mother-in-law? Cambiamos.
¿Te apetece comer comida china?
Do you feel like eating Chinese food for lunch?
No me apetece intentar mejorar la situación.
I don't feel like trying to improve the situation.
¿Te apetece darte un baño conmigo?
Well, with that voice, I think, do you feel like having a bath with me? But I think the context is probably, do you feel like going for a swim with me? Do you feel like having a bath with me? Okay. The next one.
Me apetece ir a Francia este fin de semana.
I feel like going to France this weekend.
No me apetece beber más cerveza porque estoy engordando.
I don't feel like drinking any more beer because I'm getting fat.
¿Te apetece tomar agua en vez de vino?
Do you feel like having water instead of wine? ¿Cómo se dice trampa?
Trap.
Trap, sin la M, muy bien. ¿No te apetece levantarte temprano mañana?
Don't you feel like getting up early tomorrow?
Good, me apetece quedarme en casa esta noche.
I feel like staying at home tonight.
Okay, now we'll look at some examples where feel like is followed by a noun, simply. Okay, I feel like a beer, I feel like a cup of tea, I feel like some water, etc., etc., okay?
Okay.
Me apetece una cerveza.
I feel like a beer.
¿Te apetece una taza de té?
Do you feel like a cup of tea?
No me apetece mucho pescado esta noche.
I don't really feel like fish tonight.
Okay, a ella le apetecía un cambio.
She felt like a
She
change.
felt like a change, okay? Pronounce the T a bit more strongly there, Annie. She
Felt.
felt like a change. Good. ¿Te apetece un poco de chocolate?
Do you feel like some chocolate?
Good. Some chocolate, not chocolate. Chocolate.
Chocolate.
Chocolate.
Chocolate.
Chocolate. Not chocolate. Chocolate.
Chocolate.
Chocolate. Muy bien. Como chicle. Chocolate. Okay?
Okay.
Chicle, chocolate. Igual. ¿Cómo se dice pasárselo bien?
Do you have a good time?
Good. Are you having a good time?
Yes, of course.
Do you feel like having an even better time?
Get lost.
Get lost. Good. Repaso de la entrega anterior. La clave del éxito. Estilo indirecto.
I'll tell you later.
He said he would tell me later.
I'm feeling a little tired.
She said she was feeling a little tired.
I've been to Germany 3 times.
He said he'd been to Germany 3 times. A friend of.
Stephen es amigo mío.
Stephen is a friend of mine.
Jane es amiga suya, de ella.
Jane is a friend of hers.
Ella no es amiga nuestra.
She's not a friend of ours. To keep doing something.
Ella no dejaba de hacerme preguntas.
She kept asking me questions.
Sigue intentándolo.
Keep trying.
No paro de olvidar lo que quiero decir.
I keep forgetting what I want to say. Verbos irregulares.
Se me olvidó comprar leche.
I forgot to buy the milk.
Él luchó por sus derechos durante años.
He fought for his rights for years. Phrasal verb now.
Debemos solucionar este problema antes de que la situación se ponga peor.
We must sort out this problem before the situation gets worse. From, to, for and since.
How long has Gibraltar been British? Desde 1713 hasta ahora.
Gibraltar has been British since 1713. Or, Gibraltar has been British for 294 years. Vocabulary.
Su punto débil es la arrogancia.
His weak point is his arrogance.
Me estoy dejando barba.
I'm growing a beard. Verbos irregulares. Okay, we're going to look at 5 more verbs and just work and work and work and work at the mechanics of those verbs, flicking from tense to tense, okay? We're going to look at beber, to drink, elegir, to choose, dejar, to leave, perder, to lose, and conocer, to meet, okay? Some examples firstly then in the Affirmative. He bebido 3 cafés hoy.
I've drunk 3 cups of coffee today.
Ok, drunk, no drunk. Drunk.
Drunk.
Drunk, eso es, ok. Bajando la mandíbula. ¿Eh? Drunk, hacia el suelo. Drunk. Bien, la audiencia eligió la respuesta incorrecta.
The audience chose the wrong answer.
The audience, or no audience. The audience chose the wrong answer. Mi hermana ha perdido las llaves de su coche otra vez.
My sister has lost her car keys again.
Encantado de conocerle.
Pleased to meet you.
Pleased to meet you. Salí de la habitación en silencio.
I left the room in silence.
I left the room in silence. Good. Bebieron demasiado anoche.
They drank too much last night. El jefe ha elegido al candidato correcto.
The boss has chosen the right candidate.
Perdí 3 kilos el mes pasado.
I lost 3 kilos last month.
Conociste a mi mujer en la conferencia.
You met my wife at the conference.
Toda la plantilla salió del edificio.
All the staff left the building.
Elegí ignorar su comentario, de él.
I chose to ignore his comment.
El gato se ha bebido toda la leche.
The cat has drunk all the milk. Okay, some examples now in the negative. No he elegido qué curso quiero hacer.
I haven't chosen which course I want to do.
Nuestro candidato no perdió por el escándalo.
Our candidate didn't lose because of the scandal.
Okay, our, no all. Our candidate, okay? Todavía no han conocido al nuevo jefe.
They haven't met the new
They haven't
boss.
met.
They haven't met the new boss yet.
Good. El taxista no bebe en sus días libres.
The taxi driver doesn't drink on his day off.
On his day off, or his days
Days
off.
off.
Okay, ¿cómo se dice periodo de prueba?
Trial period.
Trial, no trial.
period.
Trial period. Okay, Juan no ha dejado la compañía.
Juan hasn't left the company.
Cambiamos.
La Junta no eligió reducir los salarios.
The board didn't choose to reduce salaries.
No he perdido los papeles, te lo prometo.
I haven't lost the papers, I promise. En el sentido literal. Y ahora, no he perdido los papeles, te lo prometo. I haven't gone crazy. I haven't lost the plot. Okay, I promise.
Okay.
Los padres no conocieron al profesor de inglés de su hijo.
The parents didn't...
Parents, o parents. Parents.
Okay.
Como una pera. Parent.
The parents didn't...
Pair.
Pair.
Mm?
The parents didn't meet.
Didn't meet.
The parents didn't meet their son's English teacher.
María no ha bebido nada del zumo.
Maria hasn't drank any of the juice.
Any of the juice. Good. No salimos del hotel hasta el mediodía.
We didn't leave the hotel until midday.
A few examples now then in the interrogative. ¿Elegiste el rojo o el verde?
Did you choose the red one or the green one?
¿Va a perder el Real Madrid el campeonato?
Is Real Madrid going to lose the championship?
To lose the championship. Ok. ¿Quién conoció al rey de España?
Who met the King of Spain?
¿Alguien bebió el vino que traje?
Did anybody drink the wine I brought?
Good. ¿Se marcharon antes de que la boda hubiera terminado?
Did they leave before the wedding had finished?
Good. ¿Cómo se dice enchufe?
Plug.
Plug, no plug. Cambiemos.
¿Ha elegido Miguel un traje ya?
Has Miguel chosen a suit yet?
¿Pierdes tus llaves a menudo?
Do you often lose your keys?
¿Conoces a mi cuñada?
Have you met my sister-in-law?
¿Se han marchado ya tus invitados?
Have your guests left yet?
A continuación, escucharemos el párrafo de la semana.
To tell you the truth, I never said anything of the sort. You have to be really careful about what you say to journalists because they take things out of context and change the meaning. If you've ever read anything about yourself in the newspapers, you'll know what I mean. Journalists rarely come even remotely close to the truth.
To tell you the truth, I never said anything of the sort. You have to be really careful about what you say to journalists because they take things out of context and change the meaning. If you've ever read anything about yourself in the newspapers, you'll know what I mean. Journalists rarely come even remotely close to the truth.
Números. Maths. Today, we're going to do some sums. Okay, some mathematical problems, which I want you to try and solve as fast as you do in Spanish, okay? First of all, we need to get familiar with some of the terms we use when we're talking about maths. Veces, we say times. Menos is minus. Dividido entre is divided by. Más is plus. And iguala is equals, okay?
Okay.
The whole point about this exercise is that you start thinking numerically in English, okay?
All right.
Without having to translate in your head. 13 más 8 iguala, okay? I want you to think 13 plus 8 equals 21. Así de rápido. Bien. 21 minus 14 equals, Annie?
7.
Good. 7 times 8 equals?
55.
56. Casi.
Oh.
56, okay? 81 divided by 9 equals?
9.
Good. 44 plus 37 equals?
81.
81. Muy bien. 181 minus 156 equals?
25.
25. Good. 17 times 4 equals?
68.
138 divided by 2 equals?
69.
69. Good. 470 plus 532 equals?
1002.
1002 or 1002. Muy bien. 330 divided by 11 equals?
30.
Nice and easy, that one. Okay. 240 divided by 15 equals?
16.
16. Good. 81 times 3 equals?
243.
243. 77 plus 32 equals?
109.
109. Annie, eres un crack. Repaso. There must be.
Tiene que haber una explicación lógica.
There has to be a logical explanation.
Podría haber mucho más de lo que crees.
There could be a lot more than you think.
Había 5 la última vez que miré.
There were 5 the last time I looked.
No hay tantas cosas que hacer.
There aren't that many things to do. ¿Cómo se dice disgustado?
Upset.
Upset. Good.
No ha habido muchas tormentas esta primavera.
There haven't been many storms this spring.
¿No debería haber un socorrista de guardia?
Shouldn't there be a lifeguard on duty? Short answers.
Would he do it if I asked? Responde que sí.
Yes, he would.
Did you see him? Responde que sí.
Yes, I did.
Will they be there? Responde que sí otra vez.
Yes, they will.
Has she finished yet? Y di que sí.
Yes, she has. ¿Cómo se dice ingenuo?
Naive.
Naive. Good.
Do you like the picture? Ahora di que no.
No, I don't.
Will he remember to let out the cat? Di que no otra vez.
No, he won't.
Should you be here? Di que no.
No, I shouldn't. Vocabulario.
¿Te dieron un periodo de prueba?
Did they give you a trial period?
Él debe ser bastante adinerado a juzgar por su coche.
He must be quite wealthy, judging by his car.
Los niños lo pasaron bien en el campamento de verano.
The kids had a good time at the summer camp.
No entres, es una trampa.
Don't go in, it's a trap.
Hay un vagabundo dormido en el banco.
There's a tramp asleep on the bench.
Manu ha perdido su empleo, así que está muy disgustado.
Manu has lost his job, so he's very upset.
¿Tienes un adaptador? Este enchufe no cabe.
Do you have an adapter? This plug doesn't fit.
No seas tan ingenuo.
Don't be so naive. To feel like doing.
Me apetece ir al cine, ¿y a ti?
I feel like going to the cinema. How about you?
¿No les apetece trabajar hoy?
They don't feel like working today.
¿Te apetece tomar un café?
Do you feel like having a coffee?
¿A ella le apetece salir más tarde?
Does she feel like going out later? Irregular verbs.
Bebieron mucha cerveza después del partido.
They drank a lot of beer after the match.
¿Has elegido lo que quieres ya?
Have you chosen what you want yet?
Nunca he conocido al Papa.
I've never met the Pope. Expresión de la semana.
Por un lado lo pasé bien, por otro me encontré mal después.
On the one hand, I had a good time. On the other hand, I felt ill afterwards.
Por un lado llegaremos allí mucho antes, por otro lado costará una fortuna.
On the one hand, we'll get there much sooner. On the other hand, it will cost a fortune. Grand finale. Okay, Annie, this is the bit you've really been looking forward to all along. This is where we put you to the test and we mix absolutely everything we've looked at. Okie dokie. ¿Antes había mucha gente adinerada en este barrio?
Did there used to be a lot of wealthy people in this neighborhood?
Good. ¿Cómo se dice dejar salir?
To let out.
To let out. 22 times 14 equals?
308.
Not bad. Okay, is this a trap? Answer in the affirmative.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Have you got a plug? Answer in the negative this time.
No, I haven't.
No, I haven't. Good. ¿Cómo se dice vagabundo?
Tramp.
Tramp. Bien. Él dejó salir al león de la jaula.
He let the lion out of the cage.
He let the lion out of the cage. Good. Have you learnt a lot of English today? Di que sí.
Yes, I have.
Yes, I have. Have you had a good time? Di que sí.
Yes, I have.
Yes, I have. ¿Había un periodo de prueba?
Was there a trial period?
A trial. ¿Cuántas veces te lo he dicho? A trial period. Vale. ¿Cómo se dice adinerado?
Wealthy.
Wealthy. Good. Por un lado, él es muy adinerado. Por otro, vive como un vagabundo.
On the one hand, he's very wealthy. On the other hand, he lives like a tramp.
Good. ¿Te apetece conocer a mi mujer?
Do you feel like meeting my wife?
People requiere el singular o el plural del verbo?
El plural.
El plural. Muy bien. Thank you very much for listening then and see you next week. Bye bye.
Ya habrás dedicado más de una hora a absorber nuevos aprendizajes en inglés. Lo más normal ahora es pensar que ya sabes las estructuras presentadas en el libro. No te engañes. Si no dedicas un mínimo de 20 minutos al día entre hoy y el domingo que viene para consolidar tus conocimientos, acabas de desperdiciar un tiempo muy valioso de tu vida. El éxito para aprender un idioma depende de solo una cosa: el esfuerzo continuo del alumno.